What's up guys, it is Mystic here and welcome to Escape from Tarkov, a game that hates you more than life itself. So in this video I'm going to showcase about 4 mechanics or so that I believe are crucial for a new player to understand and might have difficulty with as they're just starting out with the game. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Oh, I just watched someone get absolutely clapped. Huh?
Wait, that's not my extract. What the fuck, dude?
Asshole!
Number one has to be aiming mechanics.
I dropped him.
No.
Okay guys, so for aiming, we have a couple different mechanics that we gotta go over. There's a couple of them that I'm not gonna go into too much detail because it goes a little bit outside the scope of this video, but just to briefly touch over them. One of them would be ergonomics. Now, a lot of these weapons would be really fast at aiming, but I purposefully chose one that is atrocious at it, which is my friend, the big ol' RPD. Now, a reason for choosing this is it'll showcase what a lot of new players might be encountering, which is a gun that is not going to be working in your favor. In terms of this, we have slow ADS and a lot of weapon sway. Now, I do want to touch on 3 or so key bindings that you should definitely have set up. First of them has to be the chain shoulder so that you can peek left side without exposing your whole entire body first. The second one would have to be mounting your weapon, which goes with V. That is a new mechanic as well, and you can see I have no sway. It is a perfect way to have like a shot lined up if you have the time for it and if your environment allows for it. So with those out the way, there's one last key binding, which would have to be the hold breath button. Now, as you can see, my guy's breathing like he's fucked up, but in reality, that sway is normal and you're going to see it in pretty much every weapon in Tarkov. So, with left alt, you stop that sway. However, it's only for a limited time, especially with a big old heavy girl like this. Your arms are going to get tired pretty fast. So what I like to do in my personal recommendation would have to be, as soon as you aim, click left alt and you will be steady on your targets. The other thing you gotta be wary of is your hide over bore. So it doesn't matter if I'm aiming or I think I'm aiming there. Like if this was Counter-Strike, I would be able to shoot that guy right there and I would not hit this thing in front of me. It's not the case with Tarkov. I'm going to shoot the thing in front of me, go right through it, go 3 houses over and kill my neighbor. So you got to be careful with the side over bore or hide over bore. Now, in terms of lining up a shot that someone's moving around and you don't know exactly when to take it, my recommendation would be do not take a shot unless he's stopped or unless you have a really clear shot. And for that, you don't want to press your left alt as soon as you aim because you're going to be running out of breath pretty fast. So what I like to do is, say that guy's moving, once he stops, then I'm going to click the left alt and line up the shots. And that's how you can get repeat shots over and over with no problem. Because a new player will come into this game and be like, how the hell are people hitting those one taps so fast? Well, an experienced Tarkov player is going to challenge you in the way that he's just going to peek you and immediately have that left alt going for him. So there is no chance that if you're going to be swaying up and down and you don't have that set up, look, my arms are already super tired because of this big old lady. So keep those things in mind, guys. Aiming speed, hold your breath, side over bore, change your shoulder, and perhaps the most important tip that I can give you is you can see how slow it is for me to aim at these guys right here. If you're close up, the best thing that you can do is not aim at all, which might be counterintuitive because other games have your spray go all over the place. Not in Tarkov. Your hip fire is always going to go in the middle of your screen, so if you get used to projecting where your shot's going to go, you're not going to have any problems hip firing people all the time. So, let's move on. Looting is number 2.
¡Ay, qué estúpido! Uy, me asustó la gonorrea.
Okay, so for looting, we're going to have a couple things to bear in mind. This is probably the hardest aspect for someone who's new at the game, being that it is one of the few games that have the Resident Evil type inventory where you gotta manage your individual slots one by one. There's a couple things that you should bear in mind, and that is having the correct key bindings or knowing them. These are control click. As you can see, I can control click items straight into my backpack right there. Control clicked, and then I put it right into my backpack. So this works for any open container. If you do it from your backpack and you have another search container open and you control click, it'll all transfer to that one, and vice versa. That is one of the big ones, as well as discarding things fast. That is, I remapped mine for Mal's 5 so that I can just throw shit on the ground if I see that I find something of more value. And that is exactly what I'm doing here while my friend flashes me, but don't worry, he's gonna get what's coming to him. And also keep in mind, you're gonna need basically a PhD's worth of knowledge in terms of what items you need and which items you don't need. That's why you can see that a lot of the marked items that I have, I'm prioritizing over other ones. But a very good recommendation that I have for you is go reserve, go somewhere that has a lot of these filing cabinets, and then just fill your backpack up with anything you find, and then just start replacing it slowly with the stuff that you think is more important to you. So with this in mind, all you got to do is know the key bindings, know how to optimize spots, and don't be like my friend here who just stands still after a nade falls at his feet. Alright, number 3 is gear economy, and what I mean by gear economy is just how much gear you have saved up as a backlog to be able to go back into a raid and not have to buy new stuff. Because what I see happening a lot of the time is that new players will just die and continuously buy and buy gear until they're completely broke. That'll leave you in a cycle where you're never going to really have backlogged gear or cash that you're going to be able to use for different things. So my best advice is use your scavs. Make sure that you come out of those scavs with at least one kit, even if it's not the greatest. You just need level 3, level 4 armor and something that shoots bullets, because sometimes you're just going to want to go into a raid and do your quest, mind your own business, and you don't need to buy 300,000 rubles worth of gear just in order to do that. So my best advice is make sure that if you die, it'll be with the mindset that it is something you can afford to lose. I'll only start using high-end gear once I have, maybe say I have 3 or 4 level 4s, I'll start running that a little bit more regularly. If I only have 1, then I'll be like, okay, we gotta save this for one of the harder quests where we got a PvP. And even though a level 4 is not that big of a deal, it will save your life. So bear in mind what you want to do with that gear and what you want to destine it for is very important, because you do not want to be stuck trying to grind a PvP quest with level 3, level 2 armor, or even no armor at all. So that is the best advice I can give you with that. Last but not least is game sense and map awareness. What this means is understanding the dynamics of each raid. Now, every raid is different. However, there's going to be main pathways that people are going to take and the most contested spots in every map, which you can be wary of for transiting. Now, the best advice I can give you, because this is going to be something that takes so long to master, just because this is a game that doesn't give you any info as a player. You're not going to have any minimap, any alerts whatsoever. So the entire raid dynamics are going to have to be playing out in your head. What this means is basically understanding where you spawn, where other people spawn, and what probable routes they're going to be taking. What I like to do personally is to understand what my objectives are in each raid and to plan out my routes roughly, so that when shit happens I can adapt and just go around the outskirts and then loop back to where I gotta go, if it is an option. A lot of the times you're going to realize there's like a 4-party fight going on somewhere, say Sawmill, and it's simply not going to be smart to go in there at any point in the raid, because you know people are going to be dead and there's going to be their homies sitting in a bush waiting for you to come loot their body. So with a game like Tarkov, understand where you want to go, maybe leave it for a different raid if it starts to get hairy, or if you hear a lot of shots going off in that area, just know what is going on. Basically, understand that every sound is a vital piece of information. Now, with the onset of the late wipe and the softcore changes being reverted, the problem with silencers is that it's going to be less and less obvious to where people are fighting, which is a change I do not like. I like my suppressors to be rare and fights and raids to feel alive. So basically that's it. It's going to take a long time for you to understand where everyone spawns, but with a simple picture of the map spawns, you can understand what routes you're going to immediately want to hold off, because sometimes you might even want to just sit back and relax while fights play off, or while people move out before you start doing something, especially as a solo. Because another factor to bear in mind is when you have a party of 4 people, those 4 people are going to take up the slots for the spawns that are next to you. So when you're a solo, you can expect closer spawns to be way more often than as a squad, where you're going to be taking up the slots for other players, and it's not going to be as likely that you're going to have cramped spawns. So keep that in mind. And without further ado, have a good day. My little suggestion, if you like the video, you're still watching this, please leave a like, leave a sub. It means the world to me. And have a good day.